Cole Williams, high school teammates at nearby Loyola Blakefield.
Opening face-off, Kyle Prouty on the right for Johns Hopkins. Junior at 58%. Jack McNallen, a senior for Towson. Prouty wins it out the front side. Fast break for the Jays. Shot blocked in front. Garrett Zangalia leaves that for Tyler Canto, the big right-hander.
It'll be a storyline all day, Quint. The graduation of Alex Woodall, the big cat, 74% face-off percentage win. Towson struggled in their scrimmages at the face-off dot. Hopkins returns 2 Fogos with great experience. Good job by that Towson defense, though, getting a stick in the shooting lane.
Well, here's the deal about Towson. They were 11-5 last year. They won the CAA championship. They hosted a first-round game and lost at the wire to Maryland in overtime. A heartbreaking loss. They've lost all sorts of talent now. Brendan Sunday's gone. Tim Monahan gone. Alex Woodall, as you said, their Fogo, gone. They're playing today without Grant Maloof, one of their best middies who's out NCAA. He's got to sit a game. The question mark now comes, who can score for Towson?
And this is an offense that was beset by injuries in the preseason.
Brody McLean off a left-handed wing shot, 7 in black, saved by Hopkins goalie Ryan Darby, the junior from Texas, gets the start.
A spirited competition between Darby and Jacob Jackalone, who relieved Darby in their drubbing in the first round of the NCAA tournament a year ago against Notre Dame. Darby won the job clean. However, don't discount Jackalone if the junior struggles.
Loose ball on the far side, picked up by Cole Williams, inside bouncer! The Jays break the ice.
Strike up the band. First notes of 2020 are sweet music to the ears of the Hopkins faithful. Towson, good takeaway, but then it looks like poor communication on the ground ball. The man ball situation right there. Cole Williams picks it up and then just fires a high bouncer past Tyler Canto. Good range on the run for the big senior out of Marysville, Maryland.
Some may not recognize Cole Williams with his new haircut. Good start for the senior, as we said. He's got all the tools. He can run, left-handed, but he's scored right-handed a bunch of times last year. He's a good dodger. And as Towson presses out, he has the answer off the loose ball.
We saw Kobe Smith's personality right there. He went for the ball. He is a guy that wants to play the ball, be on the ball, be around the ball. The miscommunication between him and his teammate led to the ball popping into the stick of Williams. He comes in, cashes in, and Hopkins wins another faceoff.
Kyle Prouty, 58% a year ago at the X. Mark, what are some keys for Johns Hopkins?
Defensive execution. They're a group down low that is very inexperienced at close, other than Owen Caldwell. And then limit the Tiger transition. Kobe Smith in particular from the defensive end scored 2 goals against the Jays in 2019. They have to cut the field in half for the Tigers.
Brett Baskin playing attack right now. This is Evan Zinn, speedy sophomore out of Connecticut. Right-handed rip, Canto is all over it in the outlets. Towson's got numbers. This is Kobe Smith. And that is why Kobe Smith is respected as one of the top defenders in the nation.
Not a terrible dodge by Zinn with the short stick matchup, but Tyler Canto gobbles up the high-to-high, and then the Tigers are off and running. Kobe Smith is like a power forward out on the run on a fast break for a basketball team. He was taking off as that shot left the stick of Evan Zinn. He comes down, posts up. You got Williams on the one end, Kobe Smith on the other, 2 Loyola High grads scoring their first goals of the season.
His hobby is skimboarding. He's named for Kobe Bryant by his dad. Well, his dad happened to pass away when Kobe Smith was 12 years old of a heart attack, and Kobe Smith has risen. Loyola High School, cut from JV as a 9th grader, Mark. Cut from JV as a 9th grader. Came back the next year and started on varsity as a sophomore.
Has had a terrific high school career at Loyola right down the road. Started his college experience at the Naval Academy, decided to transfer to be a little bit closer to home, joined Towson and really burst onto the scene a year ago. Talk about everything that Towson lost. What they have back is a sturdy defense led by number 26.
Hopkins attack right now. Baskin, Cole Williams. That ball ricochets off Canto and into the net. It's a first career goal for Owen Murphy, freshman from Avon Old Farms in Connecticut.
You talk about the mantra of next man up. No Joey Epstein to start this game. Murphy, the talented freshman. Just look at the quickness, the short stick. They run him out of the box, so they get that short stick matchup. Great change of direction. And it looked like Canto just gave him a little sliver of that near pipe. And we see that so much in college lacrosse, Quinn, where goalies are tracking the ball, but they step off that pipe. A lot of times when attackmen come above goal line extended and shoot that question mark, they're not really aiming. They're just going for that near pipe, and Canto gave it to him that time.
Congratulations to Murphy, first career goal. That ball gets put in his locker after this game. Skinny right-hander. Hey, watching his high school tapes, Mark, I loved. He's kind of got a backyard style. He's got a little bit of a freelance in him. He's not the biggest cat in the world. Needs to hit the weight room, but the skills are there, and he looks like he's fearless. Nice ground ball by Reinson. Picks that ball up to Forey Smith, who's starting an attack today, as I said, with Cole Williams and Baskin, with Epstein not playing. But the big man, 35, the lefty, Garrett Zungalia, carries in for Towson.
So the Hopkins player take a flop right there. Referees were not buying it.
Sean Nadelin, Towson. What are some of the essentials for them?
They got to compete at the face-off. When you lose a guy like Woodall and you're getting the ball 75% in a game, you just have to make a scrap for it, and that's what Towson did on that last one. And offensive continuity. We mentioned all the departed talent for this Tiger team. Not only are there new faces on the offensive end, but there have been a lot of injuries. Really first live game action for a lot of these players.
Matt Hubler, trail checked by Mo Silla. 2 from Towson. And Gray Bodden picks up the loose ball. This is Mo Silla, the long pole midi for Towson, who finds Canto. 80-second shot clock. You have 20 seconds to clear. Bowden carries in, the most experienced defender on the field today, playing in his 49th game. Senior from Westminster.
Older sister Maddie, a graduate of Johns Hopkins University. Hubler on that run to goal, you got to go with a full head of steam. He just pulled up and Silla picked his pocket, ate his lunch. You got to go hard to the cage, either if you're going to give the ball up or shoot it.
It's like the squirrels, Mark, on the side of the road.
No doubt.
Got to be decisive.
You hold up 1 second.
Go or don't go.
Roadkill.
Greg Eyes got good wheels, 15 in black. He'll be one of the primary midfield dodgers for Towson this year as he dishes off to Brody McLean, the senior. Big lefty from Ontario via Stony Brook, tries the wraparound shot. Backed up by the Maryland transfer, James Avanzado, 2 years for the Terps. Only 1 goal scored. And here he is now playing for Sean Nadelin. Transfers a big storyline in college lacrosse. As you've seen in college football, we'll talk about that some at halftime today. Impact transfers making their new locations felt in week 1. Shot clock violation for Towson. That gets the Hopkins bench pop. And remember, the Blue Jays were number 58 in overall defense last year out of 75 Division I teams, giving up 13 goals per game.
Yeah, and we talked about it with Dave Petromal, and that's the known about Hopkins, is that they got to be better on defense. And been well documented. Jack Rapine, who would have been a 4-year starter, didn't return to the program. So you got 2 brand new starters on close defense in front of a goaltender who has been shaky during his career. That's a nice defensive stand for this Blue Jay ball club.
Evans in against the short stick. Bouncer finds net. Sophomore Evans in.
It's really interesting to see the matchups Towson is incorporating. If I'm the Tigers, I'm putting the pole on number 29 in white and blue. He gets to the middle of the field for this. Not great placement, that one. High bouncers will go. Evans in, head of speed, head of steam. He really came on at the end of 2019, and watching him in the preseason, he looks like he's ready to take that next step from being really good as a freshman to perhaps great as a sophomore.
Evan the Red, 6'3", 200-pound sophomore. He's stronger. We saw flashes last year, no doubt. Great speed, and now he's putting it all together. He offers hope for so many Blue Jay fans.
No question. Reminds me of Jim Busick, the All-American, All-ACC midfielder from the early 90s playing for North Carolina, but I think it's the speed that reminds me of Busick. Evan Zinn has a little bit more offensive polish at this point in his career, and we saw it right there.
Hopkins controls now after Kyle Prouty has won all 5 faceoffs. That was a major storyline in this game last year. Alex Woodall for Towson won 21 of 28 faceoffs. Canto brushes that one aside to get a reset of the shot clock. See Tyler Canto, he's just enormous. 6'6", 250 from Massachusetts. Spent some time at UMass Lowell. Got that wide stance, and he covers up a lot of net. Oh, Baskin hit up high. Fans here wanted to call. Forey Smith wearing 19 down the alley. This is not his game. Forey Smith is an excellent shooter, an off-ball slot player. He's not a ball carrier. Cole Williams and Kobe Smith, the featured matchup. Baskin off the pick, sends it wide. Williams will try to curl left-handed. He leans in, spins back right-handed and triggers it over the net. Shot clock down to 35. No time to panic.
Love to see him going to his right hand a little bit more. Cole Williams and the short stick D middies of Towson doing well. We even haven't hit on Zach Goodrich, the McLaughlin Award winner from a year ago. Short stick D midi specialist, graduated as well from the Tigers.
Garrett Degnan, the lanky sophomore now, with a flag down against Towson. Degnan left-handed. Puts that one wide past a sprawling Tyler Canto. Upcoming call, it appears that there was an interference call in the slot area, in the crease area.
Yeah, it's just going to be a push against Towson. I believe Kobe Smith.
2-6 for the push. 30-second push.
Extra man offense for Johns Hopkins, always in the good hands of offensive coordinator Bob Benson. We had anticipated maybe Joey Epstein playing some extra man today. I do not see him on the field. There's the push.
Yeah, that's just those are the types of things you don't need, especially out of a leader like Kobe Smith, Jr., returning All-American. There's no need to push Williams in the back like that and send him into the crease.
Kincannon, the lefty, box fake and a rip. Taking off the midsection of Canto. And a good ground ball. Wow, a high hit by Degnan. Just clubbed. I think it was Andrew O'Dare. So a flag down against Johns Hopkins. Good save by Canto and the rebound control. Should be an offsides violation against the Blue Jays, and is. 2 flags down. Early season lacrosse.
Wow.
Always interesting and fun.
That was just strength by Jake McLean, trucking the Hopkins rider.
The Blue Jays have 7 on defense right now because of the offsides violation. Jake Lilly is a free man, basically. He's a free runner inside, number 37 in white. Wing rip, out of bounds, and we'll have multiple calls here. Mark, you're an official. Walk us through how they adjudicate these multiple fouls.
Yeah, so this is going to be an illegal body check or unnecessary roughness against Johns Hopkins. The referees are talking right now. I think the discussion is, do we go 1 or multiple minutes, and do we lock the Hopkins player in for non-releasable? Second foul will be offsides. Regardless of the situation, Towson will be 2 men up, and we'll find out right now for how long.
Hans Wittelsberger will make the call.
You got 2 fouls on White. The first is 4-0 White. Unnecessary roughness, 1 minute. And then you got 12 White, offsides, that's 30. 6-4, 1.5.
Veteran official Hans Wittelsberger with a midseason tan. There's the call.
And that's a situation where it's little guy against big guy.
And offsides.
As was that.
That was the second offsides. It was a nice looking run out by Jake McLean, who's a 2-way midi. So an opportunity now for Towson. A little more than midway through the first quarter. The home opener at Homewood Field. They've been playing lacrosse here. This is the 133rd season of Johns Hopkins lacrosse.
Unbelievable. Gets better every year coming back on opening day.
Frommert, down low to Avanzado. You see this young Hopkins defense. Owen Colwell, 16, the leader. Owen McManus making his first start, 36 in white, down low. Jack Lyon, lanky, and Darby has made 2 stops so far and looks sharp. There was some question whether it would be Darby or Jack alone, and Coach Petramala showing some loyalty to last year's starter, Ryan Darby.
They said that they weren't going to announce the starter until this morning. So 15 got the news a couple hours before the game that he was going to be the guy. But as we mentioned, very good competition between these guys in the preseason, and Jack Alone is waiting in the wings in case he is needed. Darby struggles, or maybe they just want to give him a shot in this game. We'll see how it unfolds.
Hopkins to be patient here, ragging the penalty time down is, Darby, you think about a guy like Nick Murtha, and I think about Brock Turnbaugh, two former Hopkins goalies who played outstanding senior seasons after being significant question marks.
No doubt. Murtha even lost his starting job one year to Rob Scher during the course of his Johns Hopkins career. I believe Murtha started as a sophomore and then as a junior gave way to Scher and then got the job back as a senior and was an All-American.
Zinn trying to make some hay against the shorty to Cole Williams, and too easy for the Blue Jays. Evan Zinn beats you on the run with the bouncer, shows some versatility with the assist.
It was the extra man offense, the extra man opportunity for Towson. They got the great look inside, but the dunk denied by Ryan Darby. Go to the other end, Evan Zinn. The dodge, you have to slide to him. Williams, the big target underneath. Shoot, score. Jays up by 3.
You're looking at the winningest coach in Johns Hopkins school history. He is Dave Petramala, the best defender ever to pick up a stick and starting his 20th season. Hard to believe he's qualified for 7 championship weekends. Opposite a former player. Sean Nadlin was the co-captain back in 2001 for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. He's worked his way up, and all he's done in 9 seasons at Towson is win 5 CAA championships. Recently made championship weekend back in 2017, I believe, or 16?
Yeah, 17. And lost a heartbreaker to Ohio State.
Yeah, quarterfinalist the year prior.
And another, much like Coach Petramala, Coach Nadalin, a member of Team USA during his post-collegiate playing days. 2 impressive head coaches.
Both defenders.
Yeah.
Petramala from Long Island, Nadlin from upstate New York, Rush Henrietta. Both competitors with a capital C.
Big time. I can still remember the first fall that when Petramala came over from Cornell to take the reins at Hopkins, playing in the alumni game. And I was being guarded by Sean Nadalin, who was then a senior. And they're beating us by 12 goals at halftime. And I said, how was halftime? He goes, Coach Petra just kicked over the water jug and said we weren't playing hard enough.
Degnan, the sophomore. 40 is Garrett Degnan. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, sophomore from DeMatha. Played 3 games last year at the midfield.
He's a guy.
Changed his body.
Yeah.
Went to work, and he's going to be productive this season.
When he gets off the bus, when he's on the field, wow. And there's the exact body type opposite of Gagnon.
Brett Baskin playing attack today, the 5'8" junior. 17 points a year ago. He likes the invert. And with Joey Epstein out of the lineup, he's spending a lot of time behind the net.
And this is what you have to be concerned about if you're Towson. Great pick by Williams. You're just getting beat on the matchups right now. We knew they were going to struggle from the short stick position, but the poles were supposed to be the strength. Poor communication on the pick, on the switch call right there, and great use of Baskin using the back of the cage. Zangalia didn't have had no opportunity to defend that.
They made him stop doing that.
Hashtag we want more. Towson's defense struggling to cover Zinn, to cover picks. Kyle Prouty continuing his dominance of the faceoffs. You got a 50-50 ball here. Opportunity for Towson. Colwell swinging the stick, the lefty, 16 in white. And how about this scrum? Off Towson, Blue Jay ball. They stay perfect in the faceoff department. 7-0.
And that was a key coming into the game for Towson. Compete at the faceoff. They're competing, they're just not winning. And when you're a team like the Tigers, trying to find your offensive identity, this is really, really dangerous territory. Falling down 5-1, late stages of the first quarter, you got to get a stop here.
They switch to his own defense. 1-3-2 zone. The tall lefty Garrett Zangalia up top with his range. 3 across the middle, then 2 down low at the pipes. Hopkins is typically a strong zone offense. They're a highly, highly skilled team.
Still using picks against the zone, so they're not going to change their identity. But Smith is a guy who can step down and make zone defenses pay.
DeSimone swims to his right, skips it to Baskin. Far wing for Cole Williams, who has 2 points. Down low to Baskin, who's pressed down on. Nice job by Gray Bowden. Puts the ball on the carpet. Great defense by number 33, the veteran. Winters Mill High School.
That is huge. That's exactly the play that Towson needed. Aggressive on the ball, the zone they seem very comfortable with. Hopkins had a couple of opportunities to make the one more quick, and they didn't. They kept it in their stick that beat too long and allowed Towson to recover, but that is a good stop by this Tiger D.
Yeah, the typical issue when you play zone is guys tend to stand around like traffic cones. So that time, Bowden moving his feet. Cover the guy in your area. Don't cover grass.
And that's a great point you make, because Kobe Smith has been freelancing here in the first quarter, and Towson's gotten burned as Hopkins has found those seams that he creates.
Tim Montgomery spins it behind to James Avanzato. Through Luke Frommert on the far right wing and up top. This is Greg I. He's got good wheels. 15 in black from Boys Latin, which is about a 3.5-mile jog up University Parkway. Mazza, tall senior, inside to Frommert, couldn't handle. Scramble in front, and a key ground ball. Owen Colwell, but a sloppy pass. Opportunity for Towson now to attack in transition for Garrett Zangalia, the enormous left-handed defender. McLean, far side, look out, Kobe Smith, and he's taken down high-low. That was the Malachi crunch, no flags.
Kobe Smith, we see him in transition as a trailer this time. How many times in college lacrosse do you see two close defenders leading the run out and the breakaway for their team? But you can see the discombobulation of this Towson offense. They're just not clicking in the 6-on-6 half field right now. And they've really got to clean that up and get familiar with one another, because again, the injuries have just wreaked havoc on the continuity of this team.
As evidenced by their 1-for-7 shooting performances. We're under a minute to go in the first quarter. Andrew McLean tied up well. Nice defense on the far side. Good double team by Line, 28 in white, and Owen Colwell, 16 in white, who they lean on as their defensive leader. Lilly carries in for the Blue Jays. Clock awareness now essential as we're around the 30-second mark. Shot clock is turned off. Nice catch. Zangalia has been very active. He's a kid who was talk about a late bloomer. Didn't start at Calvert Hall until he was a senior in high school, and here he is 2 years later as a starter for a national power. 7 seconds to go. Another turnover from Towson. This is one you want to chuck towards the goal. Muck it up if you're the Blue Jays. That one's out of here as the clock reads 1 second. So a real positive quarter for Dave Petramala and Johns Hopkins, breaking in a new defense. Ryan Darby was good between the pipes. Kyle Prouty, their face-off man, dominant. But it's all about Cole Williams and Evan Zinn. Opening day from Homewood Field. Nothing quite like it.
Johns Hopkins leading 5-1 after 1 quarter of action. Let's break down this Brett Baskin goal and the pick set by Cole Williams. If you freeze it right, keep it going. Freeze it right there. You can see the pick from Williams being set right here, and Baskin is going to take that path around the goal. These two defenders need to be communicating with one another. There is no communication. Kobe Smith steps away from the pick instead of switching. That would have been a great switch opportunity right there, as Smith could have jumped out past the pick, but instead he doesn't, and Baskin has a free ride to the cage.
Defensively there, you talk about it, you practice it, you rehearse it. What are our pick rules, okay? What is the offensive team trying to accomplish with their pick? And then you got to talk your way through it. Pick coming right, Dixie. Pick coming right. Get through. Switch. There's common calls that we're going to try to execute. And And we're going to talk, and we're going to yell.
Yeah.
We're going to have a constant conversation.
And what I'm surprised about also there is what we see in the trend in lacrosse is, as a defender, and you're being picked, you push the picker into the dodger. And that has become a focal point of referees trying to make sure that advantage isn't being taken away illegally with a push in the back of the guy setting the pick. But there, the Towson defender just weighed off way too much and poor communication.
Jake McLean and Towson now looking to snap more than a 12.5-minute scoreless streak. Brendan Sunday was their trigger man last year. He's a pro player right now. He was the CAA Offensive Player of the Year and a very good one. Nearly 80 points a year ago. Tim Monahan, they miss him as well. They'll regroup. They just got to figure it out. As McLean is double teamed. What a terrific double team that was by Owen Colwell, who's played a strong game. Owen McManus making his first start. Got top side, took away the left hand. And from behind, a successful double team, a pinch double team. Watch it, left side of your screen.
There you see the great individual defense, and there McLean has to realize when his feet are stopped, he's going away from the goal, backside help is coming defensively. Also, his offensive teammates have to tell him, double, 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 and no one did there at that time. You see the career starts with the bottom of the screen. Other than Owen Colwell, Calnon and McManus making their first ever starts here at Johns Hopkins.
Did I miss a penalty, Mark? Because Towson only had 5 defenders, and Sean Nadalin ran on the field to call timeout.
I don't think so. I think they were disorganized, and it was a poor substitution by the Tigers, and they knew they were going to be man down on the restart.
It's week 1. Johns Hopkins, a gorgeous campus site today. It's the Blue Jays against Towson. Hopkins up 5-1 in the season opening matchup of crosstown rivals. The Blue Jays' best player is Joey Epstein after an outstanding, just a scintillating freshman campaign. He was injured a few weeks ago in practice, day-to-day with a lower body injury. He hasn't played yet. The good news is they've managed to score 5 goals without him.
And that is terrific news. You figure the season Epstein had last year, especially the last quarter of the season, those last few games, he was just really turned it on. It was dynamic in the Big Ten tournament.
Zinn handcuffed Kincannon and Kobe Smith with the run out. Towson's zone defense so far has been effective. The ability to mix and match defenses is a trait you see that championship teams possess. Virginia used their zone and man to win a national title last year.
And that was the strength of this Towson team coming in. Still is the strength of this team. They were struggling with the man-to-man, winning matchups, especially at the short stick defensive midfield position. Zach Goodrich graduated now. They're trying to figure that spot out. Going to a zone with a veteran group like this, with a goalie like Tyler Canto, solid move by Nadalin. And if the offense can find a little bit of mojo, they can try to chip away at this lead and climb back into the game.
Circular passing. Ryan Swain, left-handed shot on the wing. Gobbled up by Darby, who looks sharp. He is so unassuming. He's so mellow sometimes. I can't tell if he's feeling good or feeling a little icky.
I tell you, he's a good guy. I had a chance to meet him. He looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid. When you look at Ryan Darby, he looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid, but he's got a great competitive spirit, works his tail off, and he hears us saying, 2 saves against Maryland, X number of goals given up, save percentage not where it should be. He wants to be better.
And he's worked to get there. This shot is triggered wide, and big number 28, Jack Line, delivers the hit. Towson maintains possession. You think about Darby, presence and body language so important in the goal. When you think about the great ones like a Jesse Schwartzman who played here, or John Marcus who's here watching this game today.
Yeah.
You knew, you could look at those guys and say, he's on today. Just by their presence in the crease.
Darby hasn't had one of those games just yet. But I tell you what, today might be one of those days because he saved everything, including that EMO opportunity, thrown at him.
Nice defense. Owen McManus, the righty, at a friend's school, a sophomore. doing a good job of tying up John Mazza. Mazza now a senior. Sean Nadlin described his path in college as the wildest roller coaster ride in North America. That is John Mazza. Didn't play last year.
Yeah, suspended in 2018 mid-season or early season. Was granted his release by Towson Lacrosse, Towson University. Did not elect it on his own. Great trail check right there.
Trail check, wow. And now you got to break out. Jared Reinson, 87 in white, lefty on the far side. Finds short sticker Kyle DePietro for the run out.
Yeah, but Mazza elected, he was welcome back on the team when he decided to stay at Towson. Elected not to play. And Sean Adams said that was a mature choice and a good decision because he got some things squared away academically. And now he's back as a leader, a veteran leader of this team. And he really needs to step up a little bit against this Hopkins D.
Look, he's a good player. He's grown up. That's what this is all about, right?
Yeah. Life lessons before you get into quote-unquote real life.
Good for John Mazza. Hope he has a strong season. Hopkins now has got to figure out a way to pierce this zone. Degnan off the face mask at Tyler Canto. Rebound comes up to Bowden. Here's Kobe Smith again in transition. We know he can shoot. Box fake down low to McLean. Turn and rig. Towson transition.
Take him any way you can get him, and this is an energy play. This is a juice play, and it's brought to you again by Kobe Smith. Canto makes the stop. We got the breakout. Kobe Smith again darting up the field, catches it, 4-on-3 break. Good shot by Brody McLean. That is terrific transition offense. 6-on-6. Towson, no dice so far against this Johns Hopkins D. In transition, these Tigers can run.
Look at Kobe catching his breath. Junior now, one of the top 5 defenders in the country. Describes his game in 3 words: transition, speed, and footwork. And that's been on display today. Fun to watch. Here's Prouty. He's trail checked, and that ball should be awarded to Towson on the turnover.
How hard, that's one thing that I'm watching is Gallia selling out, diving trail check on Prouty. This team is going to compete whistle to whistle. They take on the personality of their head coach, Sean Nadlin. Started his career here at Johns Hopkins as a short stick defensive midi. And then by the time he graduated, was an All-American defender, or damn near close to it. I don't know if he got All-American notice, but his game kept elevating and elevating to Team USA. And this team has taken on that personality. Blue collar, hard hat, hard-working bunch.
NCAA tournament bids in 5 of his seasons, including 2019 last year. They hosted Maryland. Tough loss at the buzzer. 3.7 seconds to go. Jared Bernhardt ties it up. And the Terps win in OT. 15, 16, and 17. 3 straight trips. That was a loaded Towson team. They won a bunch of 3 straight CAA championships. Played in a lot of big games. Good players. Always stayed true to their identity. Nice blocker save by Ryan Darby. Of all the teams in the country, Towson, in my eyes, Dixie, they had that sense of who we are, and we're just going to play like Towson plays, regardless of who we play.
I think that's a great analysis and description of this Towson team. They're comfortable in their own skin. How many times have you heard a coach try to sell you something that you know a team isn't, or a team try to be something that they are not? That is not the Towson Tigers.
Dave Petramala not enjoying what he sees on the defensive end, and he decides to call timeout as Coach Nadlin is his usual competitive self. Towson, as I said, CAA champs last year. They were a seeded team in the NCAA tournament. Why? Well, they had a great senior class, starting with guys like Brendan Sunday, the CAA Player of the Year, put up nearly 50 goals and 25 assists. Tim Monahan was a great player that people don't talk about enough. He had 48 points from the midfield last year. Alex Woodall, 74%, make it, take it, buy one, get one free, Dixie.
I tell you, he was the engine, the oil to the Towson engine, and this guy right here, Zach Goodrich, not only was he a first-team All-American, Quint, but he won the McLaughlin Award given to the midfielder of the year. That's how valuable he was to this Towson team. That's how much he meant to the Division I game in 2019. So those are 4 incredibly big pairs of shoes to fill.
I'll give you 2 more. Chad Patterson, starter on defense. Jimmy Wilkerson, who was versatile for Coach Nadlin, especially early in the year. Played some pole, played some shorty.
Both coaching staffs, Towson in particular, as we saw that timeout, Coach Nadlin was yelling across the field to one of the referees. I'm getting the sense they feel like the high hits, the unnecessary roughnesses are being inconsistently called. We've seen a couple close calls, 50-50s, where it hasn't been called. We've seen it called at other times. So I think Coach Nadlin, if I could read his lips and hear a little bit of the echo of his voice, consistency was what he was asking for from the officials.
You refs have like minors in reading lips.
Well, you try not to have rabbit ears, that's for sure. Because if you did, you'd be miserable on the field nonstop.
Everybody working out the kinks in week 1. You had the opportunity to ref some scrimmages. Good dress rehearsal.
Big time.
Sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially, we haven't had it yet today, but the goal mouth hasn't come into play in this game. But big rules adjustment for 2020.
Yeah, you see it there. It's a 6-foot radius. Ryan Darby is in the middle of it right now in the crease. It's basically half a pizza pie or no-fly zone for the offensive player. A good check at goal line extended. That time it was McManus, 36 in white. Looks very comfortable in his debut. He played a ton of pole in high school, up the street at Friends. That's the school that produced Kyle Harrison and Benson Irwin.
B conference, but McManus is an A-plus talent.
Broken stick. Takes advantage of it.
Good offense by Towson. They're getting more and more comfortable as this game goes on. I like their ball movement, particularly over the last 7 minutes of this second quarter. They've been getting some good wing shots, but it's Eddie Glassmeyer. That's not bad defense. He's right in the grill of number 6 for Towson, and we could have had a late hit after that goal was scored.
By rule, Glassmeyer's stick breaks in half.
He can't play
no
anymore.
longer use that stick,
no.
And he can't engage the offensive player.
He technically has to drop the stick and run off the field. But he did the right thing by breaking his stick, and then he just kind of put his hands up because he's no longer a participant in that play.
So that happens. His only option in that case is either grab a teammate's stick or to run off the field.
He's got to run off the field because his stick is no longer active in the game. He doesn't have a stick.
So that is a quick reaction that is required to support him when that happens defensively.
Big time.
Make sure your shafts don't snap. Cole Williams out front. D. Simone bouncer. Gobbled up by Tyler Canto, the big man. And I mean big. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. But he's a good athlete.
Yeah, 5th save for Canto, and this zone defense is exactly the elixir that Towson needed. Canto's getting clean looks. The defense isn't giving up easy shots.
It has been a game changer for Sean Nadlin now. Zangalia under pressure. DePietro, 11 in white. Rhinson, midfield defense, an area that Dave Petramala told us specifically, we have to get better at our short stick defensive midfield position.
And they've got some pieces that don't look like they've looked in the past. Oftentimes they've been undersized and a little bit on the shorter side, but now you got guys like Jake Lilly,
here he is,
6'5", 6'6", guarding the ball right now.
37, wearing the number that his dad wore here for the Blue Jays in the late 80s. Nice stick by Rhinson. He's been active, 87 in white, the lefty.
Been very impressed with Rhinson. Had a great trail check a few minutes ago. Stick in the passing lane. He is a good successor to the now graduated Robert Kuhn.
Avanzano, the transfer from Maryland, taking on Lilly, the tall sophomore. Spins, rollback, easy save and rebound control by Ryan Darby.
Love how Darby is playing here today. His 5th save. And if there's any thinking of maybe giving Jackalone some time in this game, Darby's going to make it really tough on this coaching staff because he has played some sensational lacrosse here in the first half.
Cole Williams, aggressive feed in front to Lilly, whose shot goes wide. It's kind of a attack while we're subbing mentality, and it nearly caught Towson off guard. Towson's playing zone defense. They were down 5-1. It's been an effective strategy.
It really has. Who are your zone busters going to be for the Blue Jays?
Cole Williams inside. That's exactly what you want as a defense. As a player to force the ball inside to a covered man. Tigers are packed in tight. Kyle Marr no longer a Blue Jay. He was always a zone buster from the outside. And Joey Epstein's injured. He's on the bench. It's a sloppy possession. Rebound. Oh! Off the post. We got a reset. But Gray Bowden's there. Tiger ball.
Surprised Hopkins didn't call a timeout when Baskin got in trouble. And now we're seeing Kincannon limping off the field with that heavily bandaged, braced up right leg. He's had some knee issues in the past.
I tell you, Alex Kincannon's a fighter.
He is a heck of a player.
So I think he's highly underrated. Last year, 26 points. Versatility in his game. Just not the biggest cat in the world, but he's strong, spends extra time in the weight room. He's a key component this year. And he's on the bench right now in some pain. Well, here comes Towson. Down the left alley. Mazza looking for a pick from McLean. Hopkins switches up. Pole there. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Wing rip. Darby's locked in. Towson's making his job pretty easy, but the junior from Plano, Texas has 6 saves.
A little bit of a hasty shot right there from Towson. I like when they dodge and sweep across the Hopkins defense. They get a little bit of a slide coming, and they've had that wing shot open a few times. One of the shots went wide. Other times they haven't, just made the one more slot pass to that extra player. But I think that was what works for Towson in the 6-on-6. Sweeping dodge across the face of this Hopkins defense. They've got nothing going so far from behind the cage.
Johns Hopkins scoreless streak now at 15 minutes since Towson shifted into the zone defense. Mabbitt, 31 in white, to Baskin. Early in the season, zone offense can be kind of dicey, Dixie.
No question. But when this is a veteran group, defensively and offensively, you just got to try to find your rhythm.
Our stat man, Russ DeLynn, liked that call as the flag goes down. This will be a push with possession against Towson. You got a chuckle out of Dicey Dixie. Good to see Russ off the after off-season shoulder surgery.
Labrum and rotator cuff.
What is this, like year 20, Russ?
You going to be ready in time for spring training is the question.
The gang's all back as we await this call against Towson.
Black 6, push 30 seconds. 6, push 30 seconds.
It's a big opportunity for Hopkins as you see the call on the right side of the screen. It's a push from behind with possession. Pretty easy call, Dixie.
Real easy call. And if you're the defender in that situation, you got to be a little bit more disciplined. Great aggressive play, hustle right there. But when you see that player's number, you see him show you his back.
Decelerate.
Yeah,
Stop.
Got it. Can't extend the arms.
Now don't be running up backs. Extra man, feed inside. Tic-tac-toe. Quick look. Garrett Degnan. First career goal.
Struggling in the 6-on-6 against the zone. Look at the nifty no-look pass from Luke Schilling. Finds Dagnon, who drew the penalty, and now he cashes in on the 6-on-5. Too much ball watching if you're Towson. You don't see Dagnon slip behind your defense. And how about Schilling? Slick look onto the crease.
Luke Schilling with his last year on extra man had 5 points. Good start for him. He's a role player, but they're awful important. I mean, you look at a team like Yale, their motto is need everybody. And so the current state of lacrosse is you're going to go 30 deep on your roster, and you need contributions from everybody. As Hopkins now looking to win their 10th face-off, not so fast. Good grounder by Joe Patty, the senior from Hereford.
Got to muck it up. That's the situation. The face-off rules, with no longer being able to carry the ball on the back of your stick, a little bit more separation of the heads, placing the ball every single time in the center where both players have equal access to the ball, that can create some of these 50-50 ground balls, and Towson doing a good job of keeping that situation.
He's Mark Dixon. I'm Quinn Kesnick. Welcome to the 2020 Division I lacrosse season. Everything's on the ESPN app this year, whether it's a game on ESPNU or the ACC network, whether it's a men's or women's game, and we've had 8 women's games coming up in the month of March. It's the ESPN app if you're a lacrosse fan. Mazza, left-handed wraparound. Fires up the Tiger crowd here on the far side.
Not only is that a big goal to get closer and cut into this Hopkins lead, but this is the first goal scored from behind the cage, and they use a fake pick. It was a dummy pick, and that's just a bad approach by the Hopkins defense. He's flat-footed. Mazza's got a head of steam going in the opposite direction, and he points to the Tiger faithful on the far side of Homewood Field saying, we're not done yet, we're back in this thing.
Mark, when I hear coaches say defensively, beat your man top side, get top side the man, what do they mean? Because it looked like McManus was not top side there.
Yeah, so you want to basically beat your offensive player to his spot. You want to prevent him from getting any type of momentum going in his direction. You want to get to the top side, take away strong hand. If that means if a guy's coming lefty, you jump on that left hand, righty, vice versa.
Look out! Oh! Mo Silla lit up, and Sean Nadlin's doing sprints to get a timeout from referee Steve Ruppel. Fans loving the action. Great discretion showed by, as you see Silla down on the field. That could have been ugly, Mark, but the Johns Hopkins player who made the hit, let's see who this is, really showed some good self-control right there.
Shoulder to chest.
That was Colwell,
but then watch
I believe.
This. Boom.
Well, he took some sticks afterwards, but to keep 2 hands on your stick, to not lead with the hands in a cross-check fashion, to kind of hockey hit, which what they do in hockey is you turn your upper body and hit with your shoulder and hip sideways.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good discretion. Remember, you as the hitter, you have the health of the ball carrier. It's your responsibility.
No doubt. And I thought 3 parts to that. Excellent job. 1, the defender showing discretion. 2, Silla. How about the presence? He knew he was going to take some hit. He takes it, keeps possession. Towson gets a timeout. And the referees, nice job. Oftentimes in those situations, see the laundry fly and the flag come out. But they knew it was a clean hit, and it's bang, bang, and there's no replay for those guys in stripes.
That was clean, and it was safe. We like that. Here's our game recap if you're just joining us. Cole Williams for the Blue Jays, 2 goals. Evan Zinn has 2 points for Hopkins. Face-off 1 has been a big storyline. Hopkins has controlled possession. They led 5-1. But Towson has shifted to a zone, and that has done a good job of limiting the Blue Jays' scoring opportunities. Both these teams in the top 20 right now. Both have significant question marks. There's always optimism and hope at Johns Hopkins. There's also discovery today and, answering questions.
No question, no doubt. And this is a Hopkins team. When you look at the Big Ten from top to bottom, everybody's talking about Penn State and Maryland and not much else. And I think Hopkins is okay with that at this stage. They know they're a work in progress, and they came on late last season. Towson, flip side, CAA conversation. They're up and toward the top, but they're not the runaway favorite as they have been in years past. Teams like UMass, Drexel, Delaware's improving. So,
yeah, I like Delaware this year. In the Big Ten, you got to take a look at Ohio State. I think they have a better team this year than they had last year. And I think Maryland is a national championship contender once again this year.
And that's what I mean. When you talk about Penn State and Maryland, not only are they the favorites to win the conference, but they're the favorites to get to championship weekend and maybe win a national title. Short time, under 20 seconds left. Ohio State, big loss with Anasio, their face-off specialist.
Mazza scored the last goal for Towson. Splits to his right, up top to Frommer. Frommer flips to Mazza. Avanzato can't handle. Colwell, nice goose to himself. And time expires in the first half.
Good defensive stand for Hopkins. Towson playing for the last shot, a lot of action. And Hopkins batting down the hatches and thwarted their scoring attempt.
130 from the trainers, their long stick defensive midfielder. Towson, great season a year ago, as I said earlier. NCAA first round home loss to Maryland. Blue Jays were first round losers at Notre Dame. But hope's eternal. It's a new season, 2020, and we're glad you are along for the ride. It's the ESPN app for all men's and women's college lacrosse. McLean, 6 in black, comes up with it. Zangalia can't handle. There's Kobe Smith. Man, he's good off the ground.
And he's fast.
And here he goes. 4-on-3. Kobe Smith. Box fake. Boom. Kobe Smith with the assist. Avanzato with the goal. Man, 26. That defender, he makes things.
As they come in the middle of the field, this is as slick a ground ball as you're going to see. Great little pickup right there, and then he's off to the races. Look at the speed. And then he shares it, little fake at first, then he dishes it down to Avanzato, who steps in and fires it past Ryan Darby. Great start to the second half for Towson.
Kobe Smith's going to be a pro player someday, and he's come a long way. Named after Kobe Bryant. Lost his dad. Kobe Smith lost his dad when he was 12, suddenly to a heart attack. He was a young man who's had to overcome a lot. Early success on the lacrosse field was not there for him. He got cut from the JV team as a 9th grader. Comes back as a sophomore, starts. Here he is now. I thought he was great last year. He looks even better today. He's got 3 points.
He does. And on most teams, maybe he is that hybrid. He's a long stick midfielder playing close defense. Popcorn.
Weak shot by Zinn. This will be punished by Towson. Zangalia can't handle it. Good hustle by 29 in white, Evan Zinn. But O'Dare is there for Towson. Guess who? Are you kidding me? He's got 4 points. He's everywhere. Towson's bench is on fire. Kobe Smith can't be stopped.
One of the keys to this game for Hopkins was limit transition from Towson. This is what you call a slow break. The initial fast break off of the shot by Evan Zinn. You got to be better than this if you're Hopkins offensively. Canto with the lollipop outlet. Zangalia runs it down. This is where the break is stopped in a traditional 5-on-4. But look at the trail. And now we're in a slow break situation where Towson still has numbers, and that's Kobe Smith on the backside. Look at him measure it up against Ryan Darby and whip it past the Hopkins netminder.
Not sure where the Hopkins midfielders were, Mark. It looked like they may have run to the substitution box instead of running into the hole.
When you've got a defender like Kobe Smith, you've got to bust a gut back to the, maybe get the closest to the box off the field, but anybody in that middle of the field to the far side of the field, you've got to bust it back to the hole and defend against things like that.
Good call on that slow break. It's basically a 5-on-4 with a sort of a trailer. As we're tied up 6-6. Third quarter, Homewood Field, and Towson sitting in their zone has been really effective. Hopkins only has 1 goal since Towson went to zone, and that was an extra man. They have not scored 6-on-6, Johns Hopkins has, in over 20 minutes against this zone. And as I say that, DeSimone, he's a zone buster inside.
The reverse of the announcer's curse. What makes this play work is the over-aggressiveness of the Towson defense. Oftentimes when you're against a zone, you want to press an edge, and that's exactly what Baskin does. And there you see 3 black jerseys go out to contest Baskin, and that opens up the backside. And that's where DeSimone and Murphy do their work to score the goal.
Hashtag we want more. Best band in the business cheering on Connor DeSimone, now a junior. Had a great freshman season, scored 16 times. Last year, though, in a shooting slump. He could be a barometer player for Johns Hopkins.
I think you're right.
And if he has a big year, who knows?
And it's like guys would pop up and have 3 goals against Rutgers, or 4 points against Michigan, but there wasn't that consistent scoring that you mentioned. If they can just be consistent performers and contribute like that at that level, Hopkins can be very dangerous.
John Mazza had a goal left-handed earlier in this game. He's double-teamed on the wing. Spins it to Rex. Nice play by Ryan Darby. That's something we didn't see from the junior last season. Reinson wants to run. No numbers. It's 4-on-4 with the outside bouncer. Rebound in front. This is trouble, but Canto comes up chucking. Now you got to find 26 in transition here. Kobe Smith's trailing the ball. He's got 4 points, and he waves Frommert off. He waved him off. I'm a little tired. I don't want to go to the rack, but Mazza will. Darby easily makes that save, his 7th of the game.
And this is where Zinn is very dangerous. Watch him set his guy up and go to the cage.
Right-handed down the alley. Zinn, sophomore from Staples, Connecticut.
Love the support from Silla. He knew exactly what Zinn was up to. He knew his matchup wasn't on the field yet, substituting, and gave great defensive support.
Owen Murphy's a freshman from Avon Old Farms. The Winged Beavers up in Connecticut. My roommate here at Hopkins, Dave Hallen, was an Avon alum. Baskin surveys. Towson's still in their zone. Someone's got to step into a crease and draw a double team and then move. Sends that one high, right-handed. Canto now barks out signals to the defense. Communication so important. Sticks up in the passing lanes.
Towson really bunched in as well because Hopkins has not shown anyone with the outside shooting ability to beat Canto.
DeSimone off the helmet. Kobe Smith now weaves his way up the field for Towson.
Good job by the Hopkins middies. Zinn and DeSimone each got back into the hole. Cole Williams went over momentarily as well, just to at least have a presence around the hip pocket of Kobe Smith.
48th meeting between these crosstown rivals. About, what, 3-4 miles? Maybe a little more?
Yeah. The Battle of York Road.
Battle of Charles Street or York Road?
Yeah, you got the Battle of Charles Street is Loyola because they're literally both on Charles Street. I'll go with York Road.
48th meeting. The home team has won the last 6 in the series. Towson winning last year in rousing fashion, taking an early 4-2 deficit, going on a 13-1 run. Nice defense, turnover caused. The 8th time that has happened, and Reinson flips off for Cole Williams. Hopkins will substitute.
Good defense again by the Blue Jays. Little slap check to the butt end of the Towson stick, dislodged it, gets it on the carpet, and a good clear.
Make defense great again, Dixie.
No doubt.
Make defense great again. Bring the checker back to the game. Baskin left-handed, he's doubled.
We've seen some great checks in this game. The trail variety, the straight up and down.
Swim move by DeSimone. Wow. Canto comes off the pipe. DeSimone buries the biscuit.
It might be 40 degrees here at Homewood Field, but Connor DeSimone goes swimming at goal line extended, and he's not that tall. He just abuses the Towson short stick D. Little stutter step upfield, gets the defender upfield right there, and then swims right past him, meaning he takes the stick in one hand and just goes right over top of the head of the defender, and then he dunks it home from the crease. 2 goals for DeSimone. Great sign for Johns Hopkins, the former #1 overall recruit as a freshman when he made his debut here at Homewood Field.
2 goals in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. This looks like a rugby scrum at the middle of the field off the face-off. Mo Silla there, Jack McNallen, and a good grounder by the rookie Hunter Juronsky. 77 in white. I love the oddball numbers now, Mark. And in our day, it was 1 through 49.
Yeah. I mean, Hopkins has a 91. They've got an 88. Ronson, number 87. And I always thought it was the Canadian influence on the American college game. A lot of hockey fans coming over, former hockey players. But you look at Towson, they don't play that. They only have their jerseys running through number 55.
Degnan. Canto digs that one out. Cole Williams wins the race to the sideline. Nice little crowd here. Temperatures, it's pretty chilly. Low 40s, breezy. Sun's been in and out. up here at Homewood Field. It's the north side of campus. It's Forey Smith. Captain Forey Smith has been a good leader, according to head coach Dave Petramala. Defense got a piece of that right-handed take. Dave Petramala really credited Forey Smith last year for transforming his game. This year he's been a leader as Canto snuffs Stagnita. Delayed call against Towson. Hopkins maintains possession with a fresh 80-second shot clock.
Tough break for the Towson D. You get the stop. Canto makes the save cleanly. And O'Dare, the short stick midi that shoves a Hopkins player into the crease. So not only does Hopkins keep possession, but it's a fresh 80-second shot clock for the Blue Jays.
9 saves for Canto, but he can't make the 10th. Lanky, long release of Garrett Degnan finds net.
Second chance possessions will kill any lacrosse team. And this is no exception, where Towson should have been on the clear after a nice defensive save. They have to defend once again, and we've been waiting for a zone buster for the Blue Jays, and it's Dagnon stepping in, unmolested, is able to whip it. The worm burner past Tyler Canto, beats the big man down low, and Hopkins opens up a 3-goal bulge.
Not exactly Mac O'Keefe or Trey LeClaire or Patrick Frazier velocity, but not too shabby.
I like how
lefty from DeMatha.
I like how he mixed it up. Hopkins has been shooting high on Canto, who you've documented it well throughout the broadcast. 6'6". Make him go low. He's capable of going low, but you can't get them all.
Dagnon, you're watching tape of him from DeMatha. Mark, when he got his feet set at the high school level,
watch out.
Lights out. Lights out.
Turn and rake.
He changed his body from freshman to sophomore season. Coach Petramala told us this is a kid who went to work. He's got the long release, trying to tighten up his release. But he could be a threat from mid and distance. Towson stays with their zone defense. Been effective. Zinn shots blocked by Kobe Smith. It's a key grounder for Towson. They've been playing way too much defense. Zungalia comes up with it for a second, and that ball goes out of bounds to Towson.
It went off the knee of Forey Smith. Love the length of Zungalia and then the athleticism of Smith. Those two are very good at getting their sticks in passing lanes and cutting off any open daylight that you might have to make a feed.
Johns Hopkins in a deep ride. They back up with heels to the midline. Kind of rag clock. Got 20 to clear as Bowden carries in. And so now the good part of that ride is by the time Towson completes their substitution, there's only 51 seconds in the shot clock. So effectively they killed 30 seconds.
And that's the benefit of riding really, really hard with that 60-second mechanism being in for a failure to advance.
It's a bad feed inside. That's not going to go over well at the film session on Monday with Coach Sean Nadelin. You've just been playing defense for large chunks of time, and you throw an alley-oop pass to a covered man inside.
And you force it. New offensive coordinator Matt Muskie taking over the Towson reins for the departed Anthony Gallardi, who is now entering his first season as the head coach up on Long Island for the Stony Brook Seawolves.
Congratulations to Coach Gallardi, one of my favorites. Real bright young coach. Good spot for him. Strong Island. Cole Williams, goal line extended. Forey Smith, rebound comes up to Towson's Andrew O'Dare, a grinder. Kobe Smith now looking for his 5th point of the game. A little off target to Avanzano. Nice hit on the far side. I think that was Frommer. Great man ball scenario. McLean rattles one off Ryan Darby. Loose ball continues. It's going to be off Towson. Blue Jay ball. It's a big stop by Darby. Strong angle play. You're not going to make that via reactions, and he takes that one off the grill.
8th save for the junior out of Texas. The great man ball. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a lost art in this sport. Great man ball by the Towson attack. McLean, not much of an angle. Darby held his ground, rings it off his kisser. And Hopkins, talk about the emotion of the Towson bench. Now the old man Mo is firmly on the Blue Jay sideline.
I think it was Avanzano with See what we're Frommer with the man ball scenario. Can we get one of those plays to go viral?
We needed to.
Like,
we really needed to.
We're seeing stick tricks and gear. Like,
Sellies.
how about a meat and potatoes, good ground ball play?
Let's do it.
Like a man ball. Whoa! I'm seeing celebrations. How about a man ball? How about a clear through and a guy goes down the alley and scores? How about a pass accurately under duress?
I like it.
Make the simple play great again.
We got to get our producer Adam Coppinger to clip some, and we can tweet it out, put it on the gram.
Playing with some hop in his step. I like the body language of D. Simone as Cole Williams. That was a train wreck on the far side.
One thing to note here in the second half, since Alex Kincannon went off the field at the end of the first or second quarter with what looked like an aggravation or some type of lower body injury, he has not returned.
Penalty against Johns Hopkins upcoming. But no Joey Epstein today. Johns Hopkins does not talk about injuries. All we were told is he's day-to-day with a lower body injury. We watched him warm up with a leg brace on. Gingerly practice in a small capacity yesterday. And Hopkins has the lead without the best offensive player in the lineup today.
Ask coach what you want. White, 87, offsides, 30 seconds.
Opportunity knocks for Towson with the extra man.
And Towson could use it right now. They've been playing a ton of defense this quarter. Hopkins has gotten back out to a 3-goal advantage. And this is how Towson got back into the game earlier with some EMO success.
Towson's droughts more than 10.5 minutes. Squaring away personnel. Paul Steele, a senior from Bullis, sprints off the bench. Line and Steele up top. You got some length. The Blue Jays will try to clog the passing lanes and keep this ball on the perimeter. Montgomery. Mazza with a sloppy turnover. Big turn of events there. Baskin now being pressured by Montgomery. And he carries in.
Wow, golden opportunity for Towson to grab some momentum back, and just an unforced error. When you don't get a shot off on extra man offense, let alone just a sloppy turnover like that, that will drive the coaching staff nuts.
Demoralizing for the whole bench as Towson is now 0-3 with the extra man.
Yeah, that was Hopkins that was able to find a little bit of momentum with the Schilling to Gagnon EMO. And Towson has yet to cash in with the extra attacker.
Towson's down 3. They're sticking with their zone defense. Final stages of this third quarter, opening week. It's week 1 across the country. The ESPN app is your source for college lacrosse this spring, men's and women's. Whether games on ESPNU or the ACC network, you can find it on the app. How exciting is the ACC network with their robust offering of both men's and women's lacrosse? Great for the sport.
Unbelievable lineup.
D. Simone with a wicked bouncer. Canto didn't seem to have good balance, and he's pointing to his chest as if he should have had that one.
They always say play the ball, but it looks like the ball played Canto on this one. Great ball movement by the Johns Hopkins offense. Little skip pass. And Canto, the Blue Jays are
48th meeting between these crosstown rivals. Home teams won the last 6 in the series. As you take a look at Alex Kincannon, the senior from Syosset, earlier going off with an injury, and now he's in sweats. What do you think happened, Mark?
It's just like he maybe just took a twist or got his cleat caught in the turf here at Homewood. Looked like it was non-contact as he was picking up a rebound and looking to shoot. You just hope that he's okay. He's a senior, a fiery competitor. You mentioned one of the more underrated players in your estimation, and I would agree with that.
Kincannon, big game last year against Ohio State. 4 goals, 2 assists. He can shoot it right-handed with his feet set. He can invert. He's an extra man guy in the left-hand low spot. And he brings a lot of energy to the table. You know, we watched him in warm-ups. Towson runs on the field today, and there's Kincannon, like, getting in their face. Yeah, like the smallest guy on the roster is like getting in their face, but he brings the juice. Not a captain, but definitely a leader of this Johns Hopkins lacrosse team. Flag down now for Kobe Smith. This is going to be an extra. It's a slow whistle, so I keep 26 on and I have him run some offense. I don't know what he'd be like in the 6-on-6. Obviously, the transition, he's one of the best, if not the best, in the country. 2-2 today. Well, why not? From his defensive position. That's 2 goals and 2 assists. Towson looks now to dent the Hopkins run. The Blue Jays have scored 4 straight after this game was knotted up at 6 apiece. Under a minute to go, third quarter. Greg I, he's got good wheels, great feet. McLean back to I in front. Darby jumped at that, and the ball just went over the crossbar. Here comes another extra man opportunity. Good look at Darby for the Tigers. The wonderful Nag Blue Jay helmet.
White 1-4, wide with the push 30. White 1-4.
Great call. Love the cartoon Blue Jay, courtesy of Neil Grauer. We're going to see it in the middle of the field. Push right there. Silla, he's earning his paycheck today. He is for the Towson Tigers. This is a physical game. It's got elements of football, hockey, basketball, and soccer. Fun to play. Everybody's got a little different style. Great game. It's got individual and team elements. McLean, lefty. He's looking for that low corner. What I've noticed about Darby, he looks much more active in the cage. And he just looks like he's got more spring in his step. He's getting from pipe to pipe a little bit better than he was last year. I think he's seeing the ball here today. He's reacting to it better. Looks really sharp between the pipes. Absolutely. Mazza says not so fast, Mark Dixon, as you torches a corner with high heat. The announcer's curse. It's live in week 1. It is alive and kicking. Huge goal for Towson. Like the no-look skip pass up top, Mazza just steps in and rips it from the CQ arena. Beautiful shot. Darby wishes he could have that one back. He was dipped a little bit. He's already short in stature, and when he goes down low, you get that much more challenge to make a high-to-high save like that. Towson's always had flamethrowers in their lineup. Go back to a guy like Glenn Smith doing the radio for the Tigers today. Rob Scheck. Who took the shot against Syracuse a couple years ago at Delaware? Oh, Joe Sider. Oh, my God. Joe Sider bombs. I mean, Towson has always had guys who can rip it. How about the Fogo? Naruski. Hopkins bench is on the field. They are pumped. Naruski wins the faceoff and continues playing into the zone, and there he is. It's not every day the Fogo gets on the board that way. Off the face, pinch and pop, underneath the Towson D, gives it up and hangs around. Notices there's a little bit of a soft spot in the Towson defense, little curl cut. Finds it from Forey Smith and sticks it past Tyler Canto. Not only is that a deflating goal, because you just work so hard if you're Towson to get that lead of Hopkins down to 3, but then you have a face-off guy torch you on the other end. That is just such a big goal for Hopkins. 15-5 advantage. Oh, wow. In the face-off department, man, that was ugly. That is unfortunate. Hush here in Baltimore. Sean Nadlin, head coach of Towson, as their medical staff attends to the injured player. That is Jack McNallen, the face-off man for Towson, who is down. Here's a look at the hit. He pops it forward. Clean hit. Absolutely clean hit. 2 hands on the stick, using the shoulder, not to the head or neck area. That is a textbook hit, folks. What happens a lot in lacrosse, and they made it a point of emphasis, there's a 4-point chin strap on each helmet. And it is a violation to have any of those straps undone. So what guys do is they'll play with that helmet with those chin straps as loose as possible so they can take the helmet on and off without having to unsnap their 4 points. Maybe that helmet was just not on snug enough. That was a big hit, but it was legal and clean.
McNallen off the face-off. Roadkill. Jay's up by 4. Jack McNallen, the senior from Towson, face-off specialist, scrappy and tough. He's got 5 older brothers. He just took a big time hit. It was clean, and it's good to see him fully conscious and okay on the sideline. I got to tell you, Mark, that was one of the more vicious hits I've seen recently. That wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, it was clean. It was from the side. It was through the shoulder. And we got Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. You're a big fan.
That's not the real Joey Chestnut, but apparently he's got the same name. And he's the backup face-off man for Towson. Joey Chestnut, for those who don't know him, does everyone know Joey Chestnut?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
He's a world famous, apparently not, professional eater.
I know who he is.
He's the guy on July 4th that eats 72 hot dogs. Only Russ DeLina Memorial Day weekend comes close to Joey Chestnut in terms of hot dog eating.
Russ is typically over a 3-hour span, where Chestnut does it a little faster with much more brevity.
I've seen Russ eat at least 4 hot dogs and 3 hamburgers in the course of a doubleheader at Lincoln Financial Field.
Meat sweats.
Joey Chestnut's the backup face-off man. We move on. Hopkins now up 4. Towson stays with their zone defense. Cole Williams started off this game strongly in the first quarter. He's been a little quiet since Towson's gone to the zone. Here he is, left-handed. Handed from about 8 yards. Straight over the top, turning rate.
We talked earlier when Hopkins was struggling against the zone, and you brought out the point that you still have to move your feet. You can't be a traffic cone. Press an edge, get the defense moving. Williams does a nice job at just gliding across the face of this Towson defense, and a little bit of ball watching from the Tigers. Evan Zinn gets open on the backside, and the quick release to the far post. Beautiful placement, nice execution by the Blue J.O.
Cole Williams, check what I said earlier. It feels like he's been quiet. He's got 3 assists in the second half. He's got a 5-point game going.
He's been a distributor. Without Epstein in the lineup, who do you turn to share the rock? And Cole Williams has taken on that responsibility.
Nice job off the face-off by Matt Naruski. He's a big kid, 6'3", 195, sophomore. 51% last year facing off. Had a good game against Maryland, going 16 of 26. I really think in this day and age, as scoring has increased because of the shot clock, and teams are playing a lot more games as well, I honestly think you need 2 Fogos. Those guys take a beating, at least. If you're leaning on one, fine, but hold your breath and hope they make it through the season.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the landscape of college lacrosse, last year, Bailey Salvio of Loyola took about 98% of the Greyhound face-offs. You just really can't have that. Not only is it a wear and tear type of thing, but if your face-off man's struggling, go to the second guy, change of pace. We saw Maryland win a national championship that way in 2017. John Garino,
the number 3 face-off man. Williams from the wing, swings back to his left-handed. Canto brushes that one aside. I like that move from Cole Williams. It was good.
Showing a little pep in his step.
There's no ceiling for what Cole Williams can do. I mean, he's got the body, the skills. He has shown flashes that really put him on the field as a pro player next year.
Main thing on Cole is late in the season, he catches fire. Remember at the run to the Big Ten title in 2018 for Hopkins? He was a huge reason why. Last year, 2019, ended up having a third of his points in the last 4 games of the season, including the debacle in South Bend. but he was huge in the 2 Maryland victories and then the Big Ten championship game against Penn State.
Captain Forey Smith leans in, draws the double. Williams. Degnan. I was going to say great debut. He is a sophomore. Only got to play in 3 games last year. This is a coming out party for number 40 in white, the sophomore, lefty. Murphy's gotten on the board. Forey Smith's kind of the glue guy that holds this all together. Canto awkwardly brushes that slow one aside. How about the ground ball play? Dave Patramala pointing to ground ball play. So we got to get better at ground balls as a team. And when you look at his career record, when they win the ground ball battle, it's like 90% wins.
Tough to beat. Doesn't think they're a great ground ball team right now, but that last exchange, the ricochet off of Canto.
Like if you're a rec league player, a high school player, as Cole Williams still has this, rec league, high school, any level, take care of the ground ball battle. The rest will take care of itself. Body stop by Canto. Outlet blocked by Forey Smith. Recovered by the big righty from Massachusetts. He's got 14 stops. Be interesting to see long term if he can hold that starting spot for head coach Sean Nadlin, or does Shane Brennan challenge him for PT?
Yeah, Brennan has a lot of experience under his belt. What a nice luxury to have, though, if you're Sean Nadlin. 2 accomplished, experienced, capable netminders.
Very different stylistically as well.
Big time. Hey, look at this Towson team. They got to figure out the face-off. Hopkins has enjoyed a plethora of possessions here. A huge decided advantage, winning the battle 18-5. Hard to compete consistently. Now, I know Duke won 70-75% of the face-offs last weekend against Air Force and still lost that game, but at some point you have to at least try to get to that 45-50% mark.
I think this Towson team will grow exponentially over the next 4 to 5 weeks.
You look at their schedule.
They got a lot of new players here.
Yeah, Mount St. Mary's and Cornell next on the docket, both at home.
Ooh, that was close.
Then short trips to Loyola.
Towson non-conference schedule with 5 on the shot clock here. Towson's non-conference schedule is really, really difficult. Great. Shot clock violation celebrated on the Hopkins bench for defensive coordinator Bill Dwan.
Gotta like the effort from the Hopkins defense today. When you've got 2 new starters on close, goalie turns in a sterling performance up to this point.
You know, we haven't talked about the shorties.
Yeah,
we just, Coach really emphasized that his defensive midfield has to get better.
I think other than
and the point that we're not talking about him
is a
leads
good
me
thing.
to believe that they've gotten better.
Sure. The only mistake that I can remember glaringly is Hubler pulling up and not really going all out on a fast break opportunity that he had, and he got caught from behind. But other than that, I haven't seen any glaring mistakes.
Forey Smith. You talked about second chances. Loose ball comes up to Cole Williams, and Hopkins makes Towson pay.
After getting the ball back on a defensive stop, the assist machine, Cole Williams. 4 helpers on the day. 2 of the no-look variety. He's got 4 straight assists, and there's Forey Smith. He's an attackman by nature, and he's running some attack here late in this game. Been moved to midfield. Excellent shooter if you give him the space and time that he needs. And that time, good ball movement, good little flash cut on top of the crease, and redirects it past Tyler Canto.
Forey Smith's shown a lot of growth on and off the field in his time at Johns Hopkins. He's a senior now from Haverford, wearing the number 19. It's a coveted number in the Hopkins lacrosse program, dedicated to the memory of Jeremy Huber, former Hopkins defender from the West, who passed away a handful of years ago here. Each year, a different senior is going to wear that number 19. It's quite an honor.
For 4 years, Jeremy Huber, the number 19, was not worn. His class graduated in 2018. Robert Kuhn, captain in 2019 for the Blue Jays, wore number 19 last year. Now it goes to Forey Smith, two-time captain as a senior.
Infield for Towson, Wasserman, Beecham, and Swain.
McNellan back in the game for Towson of note. He took that last face-off.
Darby dusts that one off with a shoulder stop. The Blue Jays now have a 5-on-4. Jaronski, the freshman, can't handle, but Williams is there, and he'll settle things out. There's Forey Smith. Where's that C on his jersey? Accountability is what Coach Petramala really pointed to us when we spoke to him this week. He said, we got a peer-led group who's big on accountability. Kick save by Canto. Towson can run if they push it here. Bowden got a trailer.
This team is dangerous in transition. Good job from Hopkins, getting guys all the way back into the hole, one of which is Cole Williams, who just got do-si-do'd by Kobe Smith. Smith loves to hang on that offensive end just for a couple extra minutes.
What's a do-si-do, Mark?
Little run back, and then you fake them out. I mean, that cat and mouse game at the box, it's so...
Cat and mouse. The okie dokie?
Yeah, you can
do
do the okie do, the do-si-do. Take your pick.
The yo-yo?
Ooh, phantom check right there.
DePietro, 11 and white, one of the shorties we talked to. It's a slang for short stick defensive midfield. Got 4 guys with poles and 2 with normal lacrosse sticks playing defense. You're only as good as your midfield defense, and Hopkins has been way below par in that category over the last half a decade. Today seems better. Wants his midfield defense to be more physical, bigger, stronger, tougher,
and clear better.
They've played more people there. I think that's essential for them. Typically, if you have only 2 in that position, the guys get burnt out, they get worn down.
Yeah, especially when you're number 1.
There's a lot of shifts now with the shot clock in the game. The game has changed, there's more possessions. You need 4 midfield defenders.
It used to be you run on and you look at a roster and you look at pregame warm-ups. What do you have? 4 goalies, 6 face-off guys. Now more and more middies are playing that short stick defensive midfield position, and you have kids in high school that are starting to get utilized more in that situation, and sometimes they're resistant to it, sometimes their parents are a little resistant to it, but that's a ticket to find your way onto a lacrosse field. Be scrappy, play good defense as a midfielder, get ground balls, get into the hole, clear the ball. That is a midfielder's number 1 job going from defense to offense, is to clear the ball.
Andrew Beecham, 17 in black. Far side, Wasserman. The strong day for Ryan Darby continues. That'll be one of the storylines in tomorrow's Baltimore Sun. Mike Preston will write about Ryan Darby's improvement. 11 stops against 7 goals against. This is coming from a goalie last year, folks. He was 45%. I mean, back in the day, if we were 45%, he was sitting on the pine for a long time. But the position has changed, obviously. It's like 51 or 52% seems to be par.
Well, it seems like first-team All-Americans these days is 55, 57%. You're one of the best in the game.
Loses it on a trail check from Jaronski. Freshman from PA, the number 31 ranked recruit by Inside Lacrosse.
Shooters are so much better these days. Stick technology, shooter training.
No, the sticks. It's a different game. The ball's moving so fast.
And the time that guys spend shooting, not just on their own, not just wall ball, but with a shooting coach, working, videotaping you, watching your technique, your mechanics. You dropped your hands, keep your shoulders square, elbow up.
Well, it's all about reps.
No doubt.
So many of our viewers are young players who play for their club, play in their weekend events. You want to get good. You want to play on this field here. You want to play on the fields this spring that you'll see on the ESPN app. It's the extra time in the backyard. It's the extra time having a catch with your brother, your dad, your mom, your sister, wall ball, shooting on the goal before and after practice. Those extra hours are really what makes the difference.
Yeah, it's great to watch these athletes compete here on Homewood Field, but one of the big reasons why these guys are on Homewood Field is because what they do when no one's looking, when the coaching staff isn't around, when your teammates aren't around. What are you doing to make yourself better?
3:55 to go. Hopkins now with a 6-goal margin. This game was tied at 6 apiece in the early third quarter. Cole Williams has taken over in the second half as he flies through the crease. Is he in the goal mouth or not? Goal is good. Mark, take the viewers through what the referees were perhaps talking about on this call as we go to break.
So basically, Cole Williams looked like he dove. There's no push. Is he diving away from the goal mouth? And does he land outside the goal mouth? It's that 6 by 6 foot radius right there. It looks like Cole Williams lands outside the goal mouth. Referees say it's good.
Cole Williams has had a career day in this opening day of his senior season.
Cole Williams came to play, assisting, helping out, scored the first goal of the contest. He's been a zone buster in terms of his feeding, and watch the play to the goal. He lands. Wow, it looks like he was in the goal mouth. Quite honestly, when you look right there, looks like Cole Williams, his gloves were touching inside the goal mouth, but the referees say no, good goal. He was diving away, didn't land in the goal mouth, and he's got 7 points on the day.
6'5", 215-pound senior. He's a Don. Roll, Dons, roll. Loyola, which is right up the road here in Baltimore. Highly touted recruit. All the physical skills, the flashes are there. He's put together big games. None as big as this. I think the question now will be followed up.
Yeah,
Consistency.
He's been a slow starter throughout his career. Early in the season, he seems to really catch fire as the season progresses, especially late in campaigns. Watching him produce at this clip on a day like today where Joey Epstein is out, that's a good sign for the Blue Jay faithful.
Cole is an economics major, former MVP of the Under Armour All-America game. 3 and change. Blue Jays look to salt this one away for Dave Petromala. What appears to be the 7th straight win in the series for the home team, as these two crosstown rivals now have traded wins and losses.
I think the questions moving forward, of course, wow, no question about that one.
Degnan, right-handed. Split and a rip.
This one is what you call a tape job, because you could hear the little tag on the back of the goal get hit. And that one, I mean, it just hung up there a little bit. That had so much velocity to it, stuck in the net. And there is the band. That is Quint's favorite. Mine too. They mixed up their song list today a little bit.
They were playing Crazy Train earlier.
They were playing moves like Jagger.
I don't know if we have the rights to play what they play. Now, they've been playing the same music for 133 seasons, but Crazy Train's not one of those that they played all those
Moves Like Jagger is new to their playlist.
What a turnout for them, too. It's 40 degrees here.
In full force.
Love the scarves. When I retire, Dixie, you know, I'm playing the drum in that band every Saturday.
I look forward to that.
You kidding me? That would be the best seat in the house. Naruski's done fine work coming off the bench for Hopkins at the face-off department.
Do you just make that declaration, or you just show up?
No, I have told people repeatedly. They hold me a seat for some games that I don't announce.
No, not even a tryout.
Now,
I like it.
I'll start at drums. You know, I used to play the trumpet.
Okay.
But I don't know if I can handle that. Upcoming schedule, you get to see Hopkins a lot on the ESPN app, some critical games. February 22nd is one that stands out on ESPNU live, the North Carolina Tar Heels here in town. Then you got Princeton, Cuse, and the Mount St. Mary's. I think that's a Tuesday game, March 10th.
So you start thinking, and I was getting into the questions about Hopkins, the health of Epstein, the health of now Alice Kincannon, with him going out with that injury earlier in the contest, and defensively this defense has played very, very well here today, but how do you defend Loyola, Lindley, and Olmsted? How do you defend Chris Gray in North Carolina? How do you defend Michael Sowers of Princeton?
There's the Big Ten poll. You referenced this earlier. Hopkins at 3. I think Ohio State's talented. Maryland, Penn State are national champion caliber teams. Maryland this weekend, though, only beating Richmond just by an overtime game?
Watch out for that Richmond team. I think that is a dangerous group down south in the SoCon. 4 preseason All-SoCon selections on that team, but when you talk about Big Ten, you're excited about
Ohio
Michigan,
State. Michigan? Are you kidding me? Sitting together?
I can't
getting
believe
along.
It. Do not let Nick Myers and Kevin Connery see that.
Wow. Think about this game for Johns Hopkins. It's a real positive start to stay ahead of the narrative. You know, you lose this game to Towson with that upcoming schedule, things get ugly quickly. I think this team answered some questions. Defensively, facing off, ground ball play was great, and you had some new names contributing with Epstein and Kincannon not playing as much. So a big positive start. And I think Blue Jays catch a break as well, Mark, playing Towson early, playing Loyola early.
Yep. You lose Sunday and Monahan offensively for Towson. Pat Spencer has
Stover,
graduated from up
Duffy.
the road. Stover's gone. Duffy, Scanlon.
Blue Jays have a new goalie. Right now the issue they're facing is it's double team with an empty net. Tyler Canto is not in the game anymore. They bring in Jake Stout. There's Jacob Jackalone, Hopkins goalie, but there you see the empty net and the double team. Ouch. Ouch.
Timeout called by Hopkins.
Towson plays in the CAA. As I referenced earlier, their non-conference schedule is as difficult as any in the country. I think this team will get better and better with experience, with some healthy parts coming back. A guy like Grant Maloof will help this team a lot.
Yeah, you take a look, they get Mount St. Mary's and Cornell at home. I think that Cornell game at home is a huge advantage, being at Unitas Stadium. Then they're at Loyola, at UMBC, and then Georgetown.
Yeah, well, it actually gets harder after that. Not pictured.
Duke.
Games against Duke and Denver. CAA preseason poll, Greg Cannell and the UMass Gorillas top the league. I think Delaware is going to be much improved this year. Ross Blumenthal, man in the pipes for the Drexel Dragons. Ryan Tierney, I think he's like the best player on a team who's not that good for Hofstra.
He is.
That kid can absolutely shoot.
He produces. His dad, Seth, the head coach.
He's a beautiful shooter.
He really is. Yeah, I agree with you.
Google Ryan Tierney Hofstra if you're a young shooter for some scintillating net rippage.
You just said let's make those simple plays go viral. Now you're saying let's go with the shooters again.
No. Let's go with meat and potatoes. But if you like shooting, go to Ryan Tierney.
Fairfield, be interested to see how they respond to new head coach Andrew Baxter coming over from Yale.
Timeout called. Hopkins throws the ball into the corner.
Towson, you can take some positives from this game. Kobe Smith is still Kobe Smith. The defense played tough. They just played too much of it because they just couldn't really get any consistent flow going at the face-off.
Yeah, I thought in the man-to-man defense they mismanaged the Cole Williams and Evan Zinn matchups early. They'll figure that out. It's week 1. It's kind of hard to get that right all the time. But I think Kobe Smith's got to be a wingman on face-offs. You know, I know it's going to ask a lot of him, but man, he's such a talented player.
They had Zengalia up for a handful in this game.
I think Kobe's got to take big face-offs on the wings. He's that good of a ground ball player. Towson has never won back-to-back in this series, and that'll continue. Beecham gets mauled, flips it to Mazza. 48th meeting, was knotted up at 6 apiece. Hopkins played a really, really good last 25 minutes of lacrosse, finishing this game up on just a monster run. Cole Williams will be the MVP.
Yep.
A lot of discovery, new players, Garrett Degnan. Owen Murphy.
This is a game, especially now with the shot clock, that just ebbs and flows. If you fall behind by 3 or 4 early, don't hit the panic button. And if you're up by 3 or 4, you can't hit the snooze. There's
Jack
always
Malone.
opportunity to come back.
The lefty out of Sachem, Long Island. He's still in the hunt for playing time this season. I think this is a goaltending situation. Darby played a great game today.
I think that is going to be something that the Hopkins faithful take a lot of heart in. A lot of conversation, a lot of anxiety around that goaltender position entering 2020. A lot of people wanted to see Jack Malone get the starting nod.
Well, Coach Petromal and Larry Quinn, they know what they're doing, folks.
Sure.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
And there's no stone unturned in terms of improving a team or an individual. Flags down as Hopkins now will run out the clock, improve to 1-0. Hopkins can be seen on February 22nd
black with a whole 30.
against North Carolina on ESPNU. Joe Bresci and the Heels always come to Baltimore. That was a great game last year. Kenan Stadium in the mud. It was like a Tide commercial.
You remember that? That was gross.
6-6, this game was tied. And then the Jays and Ryan Darby held Towson to 1 goal in the last 28:54 of the game. It's a 9-1 game closing run. Optimism, hope,